Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next review for Anime Month. And well, I would say it is the next anime review, but it's also a movie review as well. So, and also since I've also record, I know this is the next day though, but I recorded the same day on my yesterday, so on my birthday though when I did Kaijin Raid season 2 though. So since today is still the day of my birthday, so even though it's the next day, but still happy birthday to me. Because I wanted to do two reviews for to review of my birthday. So season 2 of Kaijin Raid, which I really really do enjoy. I love it. But I wanted to review the movie of which a series I do also do enjoy. And that came and it was one of last year's biggest hits. Um, and it is the highest grossing anime film of all time, and that is of in the series of Demon Slayer, and that is that is the movie Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. So yeah, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. Um, such a massive hit when it came out in September 2025, and it was a massive hit. You know, it made even more money than the previous one of Demon Slayer Mugen Train. So, and it got a lot of critical praise as a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, very high for an anime film. 98% Rotten Tomatoes has an 8.4 on IMDb. Even on the rating on Crunchyroll, it has a 4.8 out of 5 on Crunchyroll. So yeah, anime critics loved this anime film, and among fans too as well. Although I will say though, there is a nitpick which I would agree with. Some people would say that the pacing, like the running time, was a bit too long. I didn't think this didn't need to be over 2 hours long. I think that's one of the nitpicks I have with the film. I don't think this didn't need to be over 2 hours long though. So I would say I would agree. People think the pacing was a bit longer. I would agree with that though. So yeah, yeah, it didn't need to be over 2 hours long though. But all that said though, I enjoy the film though. I once again enjoy the characters, and once again I enjoy the voice work, especially the English dub. Once again, um, of the main actors, and the animation was visually good, slick, clean, especially when they doing the moves. You know, like with especially with Tanjiro, using his water attacks, how the way he usage of the water attack moves with the animation. And once again, it's like you've seen in the show before. It's very well made. Like all the those other attacks. When the other people use their moves. So it is once again the animation as well, and you use such a bit of 3D movement, especially how the way the show they showcase inside the Infinity Castle, when it's moving from because like in Infinity Castle, like Infinite Wall, like people are upside down, but it's actually they're on the standing on upright. You tell the visual of how the inside of the whole Infinity Castle, which we've seen the Infinity Castle before from the show before though. So, but that's what the whole film takes place entirely in though. So, but yeah, it's been really it was a fun film. So, and I'll gladly pick this up on Blu-ray because it does come out on Blu-ray in July. So I'll gladly be able to pick this up. But yeah, it was a massive hit. It made over 700 million worldwide, close to nearly about 750 million worldwide. It broke a lot of records, and especially it's become the highest grossing anime film of all time now. It made also had with a big opening weekend, it was like 70 some million opening weekend. That's also a record for an anime movie as well, and it made it way over, I think, over 100 million in the U.S. Yeah, so even it outdone Mugen Train. So, but yeah, just I was surprised, because I guess fans really look forward to this, especially I like Demon Slayer, and so now what is it? I put on my top list of favorite anime series. Probably well, as a franchise maybe though, but as a series alone, that's not one of my favorite anime series though, because I have a long list, so but regardless, I like Demon Slayer. So so in the film, like the villain Muzin, right? He is now in hiding inside his Infinity Castle, right? And we see him. We cut to shots of him, little bits of here and there, throughout the movie. Him like this. I'm not saying cocoon of himself with his face on it though, but he's kind of like reserving himself to make himself stronger though, like reserving himself. And so inside the Infinity Castle, he traps the rest of the Demon Slayer Corp, and so because we have our main characters once again, Tanjiro, although Nezuko, Tanjiro's sister, she's not in the Infinity Castle because she's been lying in bed sick. We see her only for a brief moment though, because she's been sick, and one of the members is behind taking care of her. So yeah, I would like to see, of course I would like to see her, use her demon form to fight stuff though, but you only see her for like, I think it was for that one scene though. But anyway, I also like Yuzuko, voiced by Abby Trott, who of course going to voice Momo from Dan Dan Dan. Love that series. But it was of course one of the biggest moments when she kicked Daki's ass, when her demon form, and of course one of the moments that fans, when she finally got exposed to sunlight and she turned out to be all right. That's what one of the moments of Demon Slayer that kind of broke the internet, when she finally got exposed to sunlight, and then when she was okay. So, but then of course you have the other main characters that was from Tanjiro's group. You have Zenzetsu, and then you got Inosuke. Of course, Inosuke was voiced by Bryce Papenbrook, who of course voiced Jaeger, Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. People know him from that though. And Zenzetsu voiced by Aleks Lee, who voiced Jinwoo from Solo Leveling. I'm not gonna get into every single one of them. So I'm just saying those of course those are our main characters throughout the whole series. So, but we see all the Demon Slayer Corps. They're all been separated, all fighting these demons together. I'm not gonna get into detail like every single one, because it's gonna take me too long for each of the characters doing their own thing with their fighting, So, but I'm mostly sticking to the main characters. So, but we see one of the main characters of Shinobu, who encounters one of the upper ranks number 2, named Doma, and because she's been on revenge that he's the one who killed her sister, Kane. So of course with Shinobu, she has her ability with usage of poisons, right? But so get into her part though, because the fights are cut to each and every one of them. So I'm going to get to like in one for all one, then focus on another group, And I like Shinobu, and it was well, people probably have already seen it by now, but spoilers though, starting right now. Just giving fair warning right now. Spoilers, all right. So once I put my hands down, starting with spoilers right now, okay. 1, 2, 3. So, Shinobu. She put up a really good fight trying to fight Doma using her poisons, but and we see him mooching on other people, but we see her with the flashbacks with her sister and everything, and there was moments I think we was talking to Tanjiro, and so. But then we also have her adoptive younger sister Kano. She makes her way over there, and so both Shinobu it was tough because she I liked her throughout the series, and so, but Doma, we see a little flashback back when he was a human before he met, the villains, and then eventually him becoming a demon himself. So, and he has developed immunity. He's become immune to Shinobu's poison. So, I mean, putting up a she put up Shinobu put up a good fight though. I mean, and then eventually, sad to say that Doma consumed her. So yeah, and that was like a sad thing because she was one of the main characters of the series, and just see her, yeah, that sucked. And then her then Kanago saw that, so now she's now going to fight Doma now. I mean, just like, oh man, it's like, oh damn, because she was one of the main characters of the series, and just like, god damn, that was a suck thing to see. Yeah, but after all that, it's like, damn, that sucked. So, now is Kanao is now gonna fight him, and then we cut to with Zenjitsu, right? And he is now battling against his you can say his senior, right? Because they both were taught under the same master, who is now named what was his name? Uh, Kaigaku. He's now recently become the new upper rank, number 6. So he became a demon because he did I think it was because that his master favored Zenjitsu more because, well, you've seen that thing before where it's one student against another, and it kind of, one is more aggressive, trying to prove they're more stronger than the other student, right? And so, like, the master is kind of favoring, like, see, kind of like going more happy with the other student, and so I've seen that kind of scenario before though, right? And so he killed the master, and as Zenjutsu, you know, he wants revenge against him for killing his master. So, or is what was it well, because first of all, he's angered by how he betrayed them, and which now I think he didn't kill. I think he master let make their master do the whole thing, and when they do the whole the sacrifice, the self suicide, when they stick the knife in themselves, I think. But and then they fight with each other, saying, oh, like, Kaigoku saying that he was being compared to him, and so, but thinking he's now the stronger student than him. And but Zenjutsu eventually, since he self-taught himself about the move that he's wanting to improve on, the thunder breathing form. So he, in the moment though, as he's fallen, right, he has a vision himself in the afterlife with his master, right? And he says that, how his master's always been proud of him, right? So that kind of snaps him out of it, and he does a much bigger improvement on the form, and eventually he kills Kaigaku. So, and then we cut to the once in a while, the kids of their father. Oh, what was their father? Oh, geez, they're like the three kids. They're they have these crows with cameras, I think, and then they're trying to lay out this whole entire Fiddy Castle, but since it changes so much, they have to keep on doing it though. Eventually they'll get it right though. I forget their names though, because they're like, their father was like, had this badly scarred and burned on himself until he eventually died. And so, but they said they're not gonna give up on trying to figure out um, for trying to write the whole layout of the whole Infinity Castle. And then we cut with, and then so we cut with, we see with Itanosuke, and then we said, like I said, the one scene we see with Nezuko, um, outside the Infinity Castle, and so she's being taken care of, and then pretty much the main fight of the film basically is one with Tanjiro and Gyu, right? This is the main fight of the movie, which is the longest of all, of course. But they fight one of the main villains throughout this whole entire series of Akaza. The one, if you remember if people remember in Mugen Train, which Mugen Train consists of the episodes from the show, but made into a movie quality, right? But Akaza, she's the one who defeated Rengoku, which that was a great fight though. Rengoku, he was badass, and so he went all out fighting like a badass, and so Tanjiro wanted to fight Akaza, but until when the sun came up though, he just ran off into the woods though. It's like just the demons are just like vampires. They're scared of the sun. They just expose sunlight, they disintegrate to ash. So these demons are just like vampires exposed to sunlight, ash, or burn up. Yeah, but this is pretty much the main fight of the film though. With Tanjiro and Gyu taking on rank number 3 Akaza, and so. And we do see, and the whole fight though is good though, but I think, like I said, because of the running time, I think it dragged out a little bit too long though. I think they could have shortened the whole fight though, just for a little bit though. So, but I do like the fight. And like I said, the animation of all these fights are great though, really great. And we do get the background, of Akisa, back when he was a human, and so we see them back when he was a human. He had a different name. he was a young thief, a criminal, stealing a whole lot, because he was doing it trying to take care of his sick father, right? But feel like he's been burned. He eventually suicide himself, to relieve his son of that burn of trying to do all the stuff to take care of him, right? So now that he was alone, and so he encountered this guy who runs a dojo. His name is Kizu. And finally, really enough, I just find that this is still the fun. This is the funniest of all, though, right? When I first heard about the casting of this character, I was surprised. I'm like, really? He's voicing in an anime film, let alone a Demon Slayer movie? So the dojo owner, this guy Kizo, is voiced by Channing Tatum. I still find that pretty funny. Yeah, Channing Tatum has a voice role in this movie. I just still find that funny though. I wouldn't think though, for an anime, in a popular anime series, right, let alone a movie, for an English dub voice role, Channing Tatum has a role in this. Really, I would never have thought that. Channing Tatum voicing in a Demon Slayer movie. That when I first heard that casting, I'm like, wow, that surprised me though. And when I see this character and I hear his voice, I'm like, yeah, that's Channing Tatum, all right. But yeah, he's the guy. He owns his dojo. He has a daughter, and so who's been pretty sick, and so, Hakuji, that's Akaza's his human name. So yeah, that he had a different name. He had a human name beforehand. So, Hakuji. So he's been engaged to his daughter, to Kizo's daughter, right? And so he's been teaching him this stuff, right? And so, and there was like this rival, this rival dojo, right? That, thinking that, uh, Channing Tatum's character is like a not a good dojo. He has no students except for I always call him Akaza. So instead of keep saying he's going back and forth with his demon and human name, so Akaza. And he's not a good. He has no students. He's not a good dojo. So one day, when Akaza comes back, he finds that he finds that his teacher and now fiance were poisoned by the rival dojo. And it was a moment where he was fine. He found happiness, with this girl and his teacher, right? It was the one time he found like he was happy with his life, doing all this, leaving this stuff behind, right? And so, because of this, now he goes back to that dojo. he goes back to the dojo, and first of all, he's devastated by this, and he goes back to see his father's grave for a moment, though. But then he goes back now with vengeance. He goes to that dojo and just killed all of the people there. Which, part of me, yeah, it's not right, though. But I'm like, yeah, after what he's been through before with his dad and everything, though, and when he found this guy and his kid and his being engaged to his daughter, he was finding a moment of happiness, But that got taken away from him, and so after everything reminded with his father, now he just killed all those people, and that's when he meets Muzan, and he made him into a demon. So that's pretty much his. We see pretty much finally got his backstory. How he became a demon, what was his life beforehand, as a human. But and the whole thing, the still fight between him and Gyu and Tanjiro, so, which I still say, yeah, it's a great fight. He's been using all the forms, beheading him, but his body's still moving, and so because he can regenerates, and then skipping all the way to the end, though, like he now just realizes he all the memories of his previous life comes flooding into him now, and now he finally realizes his mistakes, and he sees, he does give. He could regenerate, though, but he decides not to, and so he now has, so he reconciles basically with his new family, with his teacher and his fiance, especially with his fiance, and say, you know what, her fiance, she'll be gladly to accompany him and she'll gladly to go to hell with him, because that's what we've seen. We saw with Daki and her brother, right? They accompany each other to hell. Which it was, I don't know, sad backstory with them, with those two, so now, yeah, so his fiance now sees him as something that she'll be gladly to go to hell with him. And now that finally puts an end to one of the main villains of the series, Akaza. And so now both Tanjiro and Gyu, they finally collapse out of exhaustion, because it's been, I would say, like, what was an hour-long fight. Well, not the film's running time, but in the scenario, though. Because they've been fighting for quite a while, so of course they would pass out from exhaustion. And we do get the announcement that whenever someone is defeated, right, they announce that, Aka's rank number 3 has now been defeated, and so, and rank beforehand with the Zenjutsu, rank number 6 has been defeated. And of course, what happened with Shinobu has been defeated. So, and now with the villains, with Doma and the other I forgot the other demon, Kopusushibu. once again I mispronounced the name. They hear about Akaza's defeat, right, and they're kind of like disappointed in that because because he was supposed to be good, and so they're kind of disappointed in him. So, but then we see the upper rank number 4, Nakami. He's the one who does the manipulating of the castle around. So, we see one of the other the demon members of the Demon Slayer Corps. See was a Tamio. The female one, she's where Musen is, right? He's in his, like I said, in this cocoon of himself. She's the one who starts climbing up, up on him, right? That didn't sound right though, man. Because while he's cocooned, she's using her weapons to climb towards his head, So yeah, it's like basically a cocoon. Yeah, it's not just any cocoon. It's a cocoon of flesh. That's what it is. And so, but Muzan say he's confident that he's gonna be victorious over the Demon Slayers. And while those kids are still mapping out trying to get the whole layout of the Infinity Castle, and so now with Tanjiro and all the others remaining members of the Demon Corps, still trying to defeat all of them, to take down Muzan, and all the remaining upper ranks. So, but Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, it was an enjoyable film to watch, and so because I liked the show, and so I like the characters. Yeah, it was disappointing, to see how Shinobu went out like that. I was kind of feeling the same way like Rengoku did, and so, but and also he had to see, of course, finally finally Akaza being defeated finally, and so after pretty much the whole time of this whole series. But now they still have to still gotta take down the main one of all, Musen. So, but Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, like I said, I thought the action of the animation was all really well done. Once again, the voice cast, especially the English, they all did a good job as well. Like I said, it was just funny to hear Channing Tatum in this. I just find that kind of feels like out of place though, but I still find that funny regardless of really Channing Tatum voiced in this, really? So, but yeah. And so, yeah, all the praises this film got, like I said, 98% Rotten Tomatoes, an 8.4 on IMDb, a 4.8 out of 5 on Crunchyroll as well. And this film was nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated Film, I think it was, or was it a Golden Globe? Either way, though, I think it should have won more than the other one. So, but yeah, oh well. But I do say though that the only problem I have, I think this film should not have been over 2 hours long. I think the main fight with Akaza, Tanjiro, and Yu, I think could have been cut down just a little bit though, to shorten the time though. So I didn't think it did drag out a little bit too long because it is the main fight though, but I think the fight could have been shortened just a little bit though. Yeah, because we had to get Akaza's backgrounds and with more of the fights. Yeah, okay, but just I think the fight could have just been shortened just a little bit though. And so, but all the records are broke. Biggest opening weekend for an anime film, the highest grossing anime film of all time. It is became the second highest grossing traditionally animated film. A traditional anime film, like behind The Lion King, right? Like The Lion King is traditional animation, not using 3D animation, right? Like The Lion King is traditionally animated, like hand drawn, right? That's pretty much what Demon Slayer was. So it became the second highest grossing traditionally animated film, and let alone the highest grossing R-rated animated movie, not anime film, but animated movie that's R-rated. So yeah, it has become like it broke a lot of records though. And let alone it's the highest grossing Japanese film too as well. So a lot of it. And so, man. But yeah, I was just blown away how much money this film, because I guess people really wanted to see this Demon Slayer movie. But Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, really enjoyed it though. They'll look forward to eventually to see part 2 when it comes out eventually. Maybe it's like 2027. So, but the next month I'll gladly pick this up on Blu-ray. So, but yeah. So yeah, so this so like I said, happy birthday to me once again, because I said I was still recording this the day of my birthday. It was like it did the same day I'm doing it on with season 2 of Kaiju number 8. So, but yeah, give a thumbs up for this film. So yeah, but thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more for Anime Month, and we'll see you next time. Later.